All right, what's going on? I'm going to try to see if I can explain this all in one video, or at least tell you like what I'm working on for season 16, episode 16. Basically, we're talking about how our minds are creating the actual aliens and we are creating the portals to let them come through. Let me read you a couple article headlines that I'm going to try to go over in the show. Silicon Valley wants to put a chip in your head. It's the battle over the future of the species. Researchers theorize that our brains are building the universe. And then I have another publication that talks about researchers theorizing that our brains are, quote, constructing the universe. Then we've got bombshell files that reveal global elites have developed powers to remotely control human cells. And then we're going to be playing a video that talks about a viral claim saying that CERN simulations have begun showing, quote, organized behavior that reacts to an observation. Then we're going to be playing a couple clips of Dr. Julie Mossbridge talking about how radiation gave her psychic powers. Now, one of the reasons why I'm front loading all this information up front is because I have to try to figure out how to weave together the thought that I had the other day talking about the governments and the controlling elites decentralizing this so-called occult information or paranormal topics through the UFO files, right? They need us to start thinking this way to build that universe that brings forth these so-called aliens. Now, in previous videos, I've talked about how I think that one quote-unquote species of the so-called aliens is like a super advanced form of life. I would highly recommend you go find that on the TikTok. It's a whole separate video. But what I'm trying to get across in the intro of this week's show is just that they are flooding the zone with this multidimensional, interdimensional talk because they understand that our minds are creating this reality. We collectively manifest things in this realm. And if they're able to effectively adjust the information that we are subjected to, they can ultimately change what we perceive, so to speak. And they want us perceiving aliens. They want us perceiving interdimensional beings. They've already given us 4 so far to look at, right? It goes much deeper than that. It's much more than 4, and that's what they want. They want to use our minds, and I've said this in previous videos, they want to use our minds to hack the higher dimensions and let these things come through. That's why CERN is involved. That's why they're running all these calculations and simulations on us and our brain and how our mind affects this thing we call reality, right? And so you have to think of it as kind of like a, not even like a cosmic soup type deal, but just like, I've said this before, and I've made videos on our YouTube, you can go find it, where that's what Project Stargate is. We are the star, and technology is the gate. They want to use the technology as a crowbar to access these higher dimensions that we can get access to. I know that kind of sounds wild, but I'm rambling. The point I'm trying to make is that we actually do program this reality. We do create this reality. They want us not even hallucinating. They want us defining, materializing, explaining, and experiencing these otherworldly entities manifesting into our world. And that's what I believe the UFO files are doing. It's like a decentralization of mystical information. It's them offloading it, flooding the zone, offloading it to us so that we can digest it, talk about it, conceptualize it, give it terminology, right? Conceptualize it. That's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is a very, very strong delusion where people are like, heck yeah, there's aliens, beam me up. Let's go, Scotty. We have to be very careful about where we go from here. Summoning things into this realm, trying to communicate with these entities. We have no idea what's on the other side, right? And these things have been with us for a minute, and there's a reason why God kept them outside of our veil of perception. So yeah, it should be a pretty interesting rant and ramble. I'll try to make it as cohesive as I can, but I was just getting tunnel vision and giga locked in, prepping for the show, and I was like, man, this is it. I feel like this is it. They're giving us all this information so that we can begin to manifest these entities into our world.